everyone. Welcome to This Day. Today is Monday, and it is a holiday for most people. It is Memorial Day, May 25th. Now, I want to tell you what Memorial Day stood for, just in case people needed to know the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Memorial Day commemorates the men and women who died while in the military service of their country, particularly those who died in battle or as a result of wounds sustained in battle. In other words, the purpose of Memorial Day is to memorialize the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. So thank you to all the men and women in the military who have done that for our country. Now, on our show today, we do have Memorial Care's Saddleback Medical Center. We have Dr. Taub here, who's going to talk to us a little about some of the emergency room procedures that they have gone through. And we also have Dr. Karen Forehand, who is in charge of the Neuroscience Institute. She's the manager there. Plus, she also is the director of the ICU Nurse Practitioners Program. She's going to talk to us about stroke. And we also have with us the Alzheimer's of Orange County, and we are visited with Dan Daly. Now let's go to our regular resources that are available to you on a regular basis. We want to provide you our cdc.gov, which is where you can find all the information of COVID-19. Plus, we also have orangecountyhealthinfo.com, where you can get all your numbers per city. And we have usa.gov/coronavirus, where you can always get the governor's guidelines. Then, of course, you can go to our website, lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com. You could email us at info@lagunawoodsvillage.com or call the hotline at 949-268-2019. Now, when we return, we will go ahead and bring you Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center. Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dr. Mark Taub as well as Dr. Karen Forehand. Now, each of them have their roles. In fact, we have Dr. Taub is the medical director of emergency services at Saddleback Medical Center. And then Dr. Forehand is the manager of Neuroscience Institute, as well as the director of the ICU Nurse Practitioners Program. Boy, that's a mouthful for both of you, but thank you both for being here with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Taub, since the last time we spoke, I know you guys were prepping for the COVID-19 patients to come in, and we talked a lot about the safety measures. But before we go into what we're going to talk about today, tell me what may have changed since then.
Well, Lisa, thanks for asking. It's nice to catch up. It feels like forever since we talked last, but it's really just been 2 weeks. So things do feel a lot better. We've been so lucky in Orange County compared to some of our neighboring counties as far as the number of cases we've seen. They've been much less than elsewhere. We've also seen a flattening of the cases, which is good to see. However, there still are plenty of cases out there. So one message we talked about last time we spoke is I still want to mention to our Laguna Woods residents, don't let down their guard. It's important to stay vigilant as far as social distancing, avoiding crowded areas, wearing their masks when they're out in public. So that's all very important. But again, things are starting to look better now. We're feeling like we're making it through this. Now, there was an interesting thing that happened that none of us expected. Not only we didn't see a surge in Orange County or in our hospital, but we've actually seen our emergency room patient volume down 50%. So we're actually seeing half the patients we saw before COVID. And that concerns me and it worries me because I wonder, are our Laguna Woods residents at home injured? Are they sick? Are they scared to come to the hospital? And I hope today we can share some of the safety measures we put in place so they can feel totally confident coming here, because we're the ultimate essential service. We're here to help them right now. So we want to make sure they know where to go when they need help.
Right now, some of the things that you were seeing people before were normal things that you would see in an ER, heart attack or stroke or something along those lines, or they got in an accident or whatever the case might be. So with that said, how can people stay home if they are having some sort of heart problem? I mean, wouldn't they have to come to the hospital?
Yeah, and so we don't quite understand where the patients are going or what they're doing, but we want to let people know, just like before COVID, if you're having chest pain, if you're having signs of a stroke, which Karen will talk more about later, if you're having high fevers or shaking chills, If you're confused, if you've fallen and injured yourself like your hip and you can't get up, you need to come to the hospital so we can take care of you. And again, you're going to be safe when you come here because we put so many safety measures in place. So please don't stay home if you're sick or injured. Let us help you.
Well, let's talk about some of those safety measures that you were talking about. I mean, I know you are not the only group. I mean, everyone is taking the precautions necessary. And, you are one of our hospitals that are the first ones that people will go to here in our area. So tell me some of the measures that you are doing.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. So we've got a number of measures in place. And actually, we put a lot of this in place for anyone else in the state or the county or the country. So we're really proud of what we put in place. And it's really strong because we really want to protect our citizens. So I'd say there's 5 major things we're doing. So the first thing is before anyone comes into our hospital, whether it be a patient, a doctor, or a nurse, we screen their temperature.
Okay. Their forehead. Okay.
For Karen, it doesn't hurt. And we also check for symptoms of possible COVID disease. So everyone gets screened. And if they have those symptoms, they'll go to a separate care area. The second thing we put in place was every single person who comes into the ER hospital or other care areas, they will wear a mask. If you have your own mask, you can bring it, but every single person will get a mask and hand hygiene for everyone. So important. So that's our second measure.
Okay.
The third measure we've put in place is we have separate care areas. So we have 3 care areas now, very separate and defined with separate staff members. So we have what's called our green area, which are people with non-COVID related things like heart attacks, strokes, hip fractures. So they're in their separate, clean, organized area. Okay. We now have another area called the orange area, which is where people might have fevers, chills, cough, symptoms of COVID or other infectious diseases that now we're going to test and determine if they actually do have coronavirus. Okay. And then the third area is the purple zone, where people who actually are found to have coronavirus, and there's so few here, it's really just a handful a week. They'll be in their separate areas where they get the best possible care, but also we keep everyone separated so that other patients don't get ill, our staff members don't get ill, but we don't bring it home to our families. Oh, and then the last thing that we do is we have our rapid COVID testing. So this is a swab that we do. It's in the mouth, not terribly uncomfortable. And we actually can get results in just a matter of minutes now. And when we talked last, we were, I think it was still about a week it was taking us to get results. So that's changed everything for us. Okay. And then the last thing I did want to talk about is our staff members were being so careful to have proper what we call PPE, personal protection equipment. And I actually just wanted to show people what that would look like so they know when they come here what they would see. So Karen is one of our nurses today in our green zone. So these are just, again, if you had chest pain, shortness of breath, things like that. So I'll have Karen, one of our wonderful RNs here.
Okay. So she's sporting a white mask that is definitely going to prevent her from getting something as well as giving it to the patients, be it a cold or whatever the case might be.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And
okay.
She's also done great hand hygiene before and after every single patient.
Perfect. All right, good. That's great. Thank you.
So again, it's our usual nurses and it's not scary. We just have a mask on. And frankly, that's something I think we've learned about with COVID. We could do a lot better hand hygiene, masking, patients, staff members, all of us. So that's a good thing.
Well, now, virus though, right? I mean, if people have the flu, they can still wear those masks, correct?
We may see that coming up in the flu season. I think everyone, the whole world's learned a lot about that. And so it'll help with the flu, all those kind of things. So that's good. And then now, if you do come in with a fever or chills or a cough or signs that you may have coronavirus, then you would be in our orange area. Again, a separate area, comfortable, clean, your own separate nurses who are experts in treating this and our doctors. And I wanted to show you Sabine, just so you know, if you went there, what you'd be seeing, it's really nothing scary. It's just what we would call heightened protective equipment.
Okay.
So, Sabine.
So yeah, so she's got the gloves and then what do they call it's just a gown? Okay, and then the whole thing. Okay, got it. And then what's on your head? Oh, you've got a little thing on your head too. Okay. Well, I think we've seen a lot of that across all of the stations these days. A good job.
Yeah. And so again, we've got those 5 major measures and a lot of other things, but that's the big 5 things we have so that Laguna Woods residents, if they're ill or injured, they can come to our ER and feel comfortable. We're going to make them better and not cause them to get sick.
And also, if they cannot come physically on their own, then they can still call 911 and an ambulance is going to come and get them.
Absolutely. You should always call an ambulance if you're, highly concerned, and especially if you're having a stroke or something of that sort.
Okay, perfect. And then how should they go ahead and, approach the emergency room? I mean, when they come to the front, is there someone that's going to greet them and direct them? I know you said you take their temperature, but will they direct them where they need to go?
Yeah, so if they call an ambulance, 911, they'll all be protected. They'll ask them appropriate questions to determine if they might have coronavirus. But again, it's so rare now. If you come to the ER, we've got a nurse and security waiting out front, and they're going to greet you out front. And we have all the proper questions, check your temperature, give you the mask. If you have a mask at home, come with that, wearing that, if you're concerned you have an infection. And so everything's in place to help patients know exactly what to do when they get here.
Perfect. That's great. Now, I know that you mentioned stroke as something, people might be experiencing or are really not necessarily either not knowing about what they need to do or not knowing what the symptoms are. So Karen, can you tell me some of the symptoms of a stroke?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. So I like to remember the symptoms of stroke through the acronym BFAST. So B stands for balance. Is there a lack of balance or coordination? E is for eyes. Do we have a change in vision or a gaze deviation? F is for face. Is there a facial droop present, or is the face unequal? A is for arms. Is the person able to raise both arms, or is there weakness on one side? S is for speech. Is there slurred speech? Does the speech make sense? And T, of course, is time, because time is very, very important. Call 911. Get the person experiencing any of these signs and symptoms of stroke here so that they can get treatment and reduce deficits.
And if you wait too long, what does that actually mean for the patient?
If you wait too long, we have a very limited time frame that we can give a clot-busting drug called TPA or alteplase. We have about 3 hours to administer that medication, 4.5 in some cases, but usually about 3 hours to administer that medication. And what that does, it breaks up the clot and again reduces deficits. Another treatment that we can do is a thrombectomy, which is a clot retrieval. That usually we have up to 24 hours to do a procedure like that.
Mm-hmm. And is there a difference between a man and a woman experiencing symptoms?
Well, the symptoms are pretty much the same for men and women. However, women may have some additional symptoms like generalized weakness, they may have shortness of breath, they may have seizure activity, lightheadedness, vertigo, and sometimes nausea and vomiting.
Okay, good to know. And then who, of course, is at risk of a stroke? Our community is 55 and over. I would imagine they fall within the parameters of the ages, but it's not necessarily just older folks, correct?
No, it's not. Stroke can happen at any time during the lifespan. However, yes, patients that are greater than 65 years old or women are at higher likelihood to have a stroke. Women, because we live longer, is why we are at higher risk. There are modifiable risk factors, however, and those modifiable risk factors are controlling your blood pressure, controlling your high cholesterol, managing diabetes and heart disease and AFib especially, as well as not smoking and being active and eating a healthy diet.
Well, and now if you look at some of the comorbidities in which the COVID-19 is attached to, many of what you just mentioned are many of the comorbidities that people are suffering from COVID-19. So in your opinion, would you agree that modifying or monitoring all of the things you just mentioned not only prevents stroke, but could prevent you from potentially getting COVID-19?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So it's very important to manage those diseases so that you prevent stroke and heart disease and, of course, COVID as well.
And then earlier, Dr. Taub was talking about if you do think you have symptoms of a stroke or a heart attack, you can come to Saddleback Hospital and they have all of the different things in place. What would you suggest they do upon entering Saddleback?
Saddleback. So again, they're screened here before they are placed anywhere in our emergency department. We really need to know when that last known well time is. So that is extremely important to us. the best thing you can do is call the paramedics, because the paramedics will obtain all that information and give it to our emergency staff and our emergency physicians. Yeah, so that's the best thing you can do.
That's perfect. I mean, you know, it's such a different time. I mean, we wouldn't normally have to go through all of these types of questions and procedures. I mean, I know you have your normal procedures that you would go through, but this just is adding, you know, like a whole nother level of questioning. So it's good that you guys are prepared. Any last things from either one of you that you'd like to mention?
Well, I just say for me, thanks again, Laguna Woods, for doing such a good job. I mean, literally 8 patients still for this whole crisis. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't let up your guard. But it seems like the sun's coming out for us now, so we can start getting out a little bit safely. And please, if you're ill or injured, we're here to help you. Don't be scared. We're essential service. We've got all the safety measures in place for you, our partners in Laguna Woods. So please come and let us help you.
Perfect. And Karen?
Definitely. Yes. So, you know, we're here. We have specialized teams that can take care of stroke. We're certified in taking care of any stroke-like symptoms. So don't stay at home. Please come if you develop any stroke symptoms.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you both very much. I appreciate you taking the time. You guys stay healthy out there, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks, Lisa. You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dan Daly of the Alzheimer's of Orange County. And how are you doing? Welcome to our Zoom interview.
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Lisa. Great to see you again, even though it's in a remote location.
Yes, yes. And it's been a crazy journey over these last 8 weeks. And I think we all have Zoomitis.
Absolutely.
It's not coronavirus, it's Zoomitis now. So in any case, you know, tell me what you've been doing with Alzheimer's of Orange County. You know, obviously you can't operate in a lot of the same ways that you used to. So how have you adapted?
Well, first of all, let me say that we have made the transition into having Zoom sessions like this one very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we have not missed a beat as far as visibility in the community. We're doing a lot of different things. It's just a different mode of how we accomplish our goals.
Okay.
So we're still very active on the education side of it. We're very active in the outreach and advocacy. And a lot of the clubs, as you know, in Laguna Woods Village, including the Alzheimer's Club of Orange County, that's shut down and basically postponed until a better day as far as getting the green light from the city of Laguna Woods Village.
Right.
But I'm sure that it's going to be a gradual reopening for all of us, and more importantly, especially for the economy.
Exactly. And each week we have new directives from the governor, and I think there's some good news that I think we just got, I think yesterday. So hopefully we'll have more information from the supervisors, and then of course, you know, through Laguna Woods as well. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you are able to do to help people via Zoom or online. So support groups, tell me a little bit about how those are working.
Okay, as you know, about 6 years ago, we had a total of 5 support groups throughout Orange County. It's now over 50.
Wow.
So we have had to make the transition into continuing to do these support groups, but more on the Zoom virtual sessions. So what we're doing with these virtual sessions, the second Wednesday of each month, I should say the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, is when we do these sessions.
Okay.
And anybody who's interested in joining the session, they just have to go to the Facebook page of our website, and then they can register, and then in turn they'll get a link so that they can join in the session.
Okay.
So it'd be the second and fourth Wednesday of each month.
Okay.
And that's working out very well because there still is a demand for these sessions. So even though we can't do it physically, we can do it from a remote location, which is great.
All right. Now, I mean, I know you have your webinars. Is it just on Facebook, or can you also see it elsewhere?
The webinars are online once a month. In fact, the next one scheduled would be the May 26th,
Okay.
and that'll be at 10 a.m. And that's going to be titled Meaningful Activities to Do at Home with Loved Ones.
Great.
So that is free, and it's usually at least an hour, and it's very educational, and it's very meaningful, and very helpful for the families, especially the family and the caregiver who's involved, whether it be a family member or somebody coming in to be a caregiver.
Okay, excellent. And you also are helping people find masks. Now, I'm not sure if you were aware that Laguna Woods handed out tons of different masks. Now, they do sort of last a little while, but I don't think they last a long time unless they're a washable kind. So what kind of masks are you providing?
In fact, I just dropped off 10 bags of disposable masks yesterday.
Okay.
And these are disposable masks. They're not the N-95 mask.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have those. These are strictly disposable.
Right.
And what we've done is we've assembled them so that there's 4 masks per Ziploc bag.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get them at the social services at Laguna Woods Village.
Okay.
And they're the ones who are distributing them. Now, we, as an organization, we have distributed over 32,000 masks throughout Orange County.
Oh my goodness.
We do know that in Laguna Woods Village, there's about 161 residents that have availed themselves of the masks from social services. So we'll continue on a weekly basis as we get the masks donated to us. We in turn will donate them to social services who will distribute them to the residents of Laguna Woods Village.
Right. Well, that's great. I mean, that's super because we're going to need them, I think, for a while. So that's wonderful. You were able to secure so many of them for the residents. So thank you for that.
Oh, sure.
You know, when we're home and we're isolated and, you know, many people are alone, or even if they are with a caregiver or a loved one, you know, it can be challenging, especially when it comes to exercise and, you know, the kind of foods that we eat. I mean, I think I've gained like 10 pounds. And I don't know if it's because I'm eating too much garbage or am I just not getting off my booty? So what would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest the following. First of all, whatever regimen you had as far as diet and exercise prior to COVID-19, you should definitely adhere to that regimen.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the diet is concerned, it's very easy to sit around and hope for the time to go by, and in the meantime be eating a lot of M&Ms, which is not good for you. So what we suggest is on the diet side, a plant-based diet, which would be an increase of vegetables and fish in omega-3 fatty acids. Reduce the intake of red meat. That's not good for the heart. It's not good for the vascular system. It's not good for the brain.
Okay.
So that is the kind of diet they should adhere to.
Okay.
As far as the exercise 30 minutes a day, minimum 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now that exercise could be centered around balance, flexibility, aerobics, or just basic walking.
Right.
Now we do know with the social distancing It might be some difficulty for some people, depending upon where they live in the village, where they want to adhere to the social distancing. I would suggest that you pick a certain time of the day where there aren't that many people out walking, and get your exercise through walking that way. It's such a beautiful area over there, and there's a lot of beautiful trees and birds singing, and at the same time, you can have some interaction with neighbors, and that's going to enhance your socialization.
Exactly.
So I would definitely be outside in trying to get some exercise outdoors.
Excellent. Yeah, there are some beautiful areas. We have people that have been sending in pictures of the area. People, with their masks or without their masks. I mean, most of them do with their masks, but they might just like leave them to the side so they can get some fresh air. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, the folks in the village have been doing a really great job of keeping up with all of those things, I think. And we've provided them enough online exercising stuff that they're just hopefully they're exercising a lot, because we sure have a lot of it on TV. So all good.
Oh,
but
keep them healthy.
yeah,
The other thing I
right.
would recommend too, Lisa, is it's a good time for individuals to reach out to people that they haven't talked to in a while, that they haven't communicated with in a while. Could be a family member. It could be somebody who's recently lost a spouse, who might be going through some tough emotional times as far as depression. And to reach out and just make a phone call or send an email, that can be very, very uplifting. And it's going to make the individual feel better about themselves. And it's certainly going to uplift the person who's on the receiving end.
Exactly. Well, let's tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
The best way to get a hold of us is through the website, www.alzoc.org.
Okay.
The other method is our helpline is still in effect.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, they can call 1-800-HELP-ALZ, and those letters will convert into numbers.
Got it.
And if that's open from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, leave a message and somebody will get right back to you if they're busy talking to somebody else.
Okay.
But those are the two best ways. The other thing is they can access our Facebook page on the website, and they can download a lot of activities that are coming up. Our library of videos is constant. It's always available, and they're all free, and there's a lot of different topics that they can peruse.
Great. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to adapt to our new ways of operation, and good for you. I mean, great. Thank you so much for the support in the community. You've been doing a great job.
Well, hopefully the Alzheimer's Club, like all the other clubs, will be getting back on the mainstream pretty soon.
Yeah. Cross your fingers. I hope so too. I really do. I know there's a lot of people who can't wait to get back to somewhat of a normal, whatever that new normal might be. So I appreciate you taking the time, Dan.
All right, Lisa, very nice to see you again, and the best of everything to you and Ken and the staff.
All right, you too. Thank you, and you stay healthy.
All right, I will. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we'll be right back after this. Have a fabulous holiday today. I hope you enjoy the sunshine or whatever you're planning to do. Other than that, we'll see you again here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a healthy day, and you guys have a fun day off. Bye-bye.